Morning, everybody. Happy Sunday morning. It's a beautiful day out there. Thanks for joining me at whatever point you join this at for a little bit of Sunday morning, some gospel songs, as much as I know, and some words of hopefully inspiration for you. Maybe a short one today since it's such a lovely day outside. Courtney! Hey, Courtney. I'm waving to Courtney. See, I get to do that on that little phone since she's on Facebook. I also got the YouTube stream going, but I never know how well that thing's going. Someday we'll figure it out. Did I wave to Courtney? I guess so. Well, she says, hey, baby. Hey, Courtney. I remember, Courtney, when you and your friend sent me a tape when I was in the Peace Corps in Paraguay. And it was such a lovely gift. It was just such a great, thoughtful gift down there. You sort of took me along on the day when you were going to see Future Man and Bela Fleck and the Flecktones at some concert somewhere in California, I think it was. Oh, it was just such a great thing to get and listen to down there in Paraguay, and I listened to it a couple times. It made me so happy. Yeah, this makes me happy already to know that you're tuning in. I'm gonna start off with one that Bill Monroe. I don't know if he wrote this or not. It's a little weird on the piano, I must admit, but we'll give it our best shot. It's called Working on a Building. I'm working on a building, I'm working on a building, I'm working on a building for my Lord, It's a Holy Cross building, it's a Holy Cross building, it's a Holy Cross building for my Lord. Oh, if I was a gambler, I'd tell you what I'd do. I'd quit all my gambling, start working on a building too. I'm working on a building, I'm working on a building, I'm working on a building for my Lord. It's a Holy Cross building, it's a Holy Cross building, it's a Holy Cross building for my Lord. If I was a drunkard, I'd tell you what I'd do. I would quit all my drinking, start working on a building too. I'm working on a building, I'm working on a building, I'm working on a building for my Lord. It's a Holy Cross building, it's a Holy Cross building, it's a Holy Cross building for my Lord. Well, if I was a preacher, I'd tell you what I'd do. I'd keep right on a preaching, working on a building too. I'm working on a building, I'm working on a building, I'm working on a building for my Lord. It's a Holy Cross building, it's a Holy Cross building, it's a Holy Cross building for my Lord. There you go. I think it works a lot better as a bluegrass tune, personally, but there you have it. All right, I thought I'd play this one as well because I love it so much, and it's called Turn Your Radio On. Apparently it's by Albert Bromley. I don't know who that is. 1938. It's from Rise Up Singin' is where I got it from. Actually, I got it from Roger Cartwright, the great old Roger the Dodger, who would play this on the concertina. All right. Come and listen to the radio station where the mighty hosts of heaven sing. Turn your radio on, turn your radio on. If you want to get to heaven, wait. Oh, if you want to hear the songs of Zion coming from the land of endless springs, get in touch with God. Turn your radio on, turn your radio on, and listen to the music in the air. Turn your radio on. Heaven's glory share, turn the lights down, turn those lights down low, and listen to the Master's radio. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on. Brother, listen to the glory line chorus, listen to the glad Hosanna sing. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on. Oh, get a little joy of heaven, waiting a little heaven in your soul. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on and listen to the music in the air. Turn your radio on. Heaven's glory share, turn the lights down, turn those lights down low, and listen to the Master's radio. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on. Listen to songs, mothers and fathers, and the many friends who've come before. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. Oh, some eternal morning, meet him over on Hallelujah Shore. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on and listen to the music in the air. Turn your radio on. Heaven's glory share, turn the lights down, turn those lights down low, and listen to the Master's radio. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on and listen to the music in the air. Turn your radio on. Heaven's glory share, turn the lights down, turn those lights down low, and listen to the Master's radio. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on. All right. Let's turn our radio on. Let's get a little inspiration in these dark and exciting times. I think the Chinese had a saying which was both a blessing and a curse. It was both. It was may you be born in an exciting time. Or maybe born in an interesting time. Yes, it's very interesting. Yes, very interesting times. Yeah, I've been feeling a little low lately, so it's good to see the sun out today here in New England. And I'm going to get outside, and I believe my sister and brother-in-law are supposed to come up from Rhode Island. We're going to do a little social distancing later on. And yeah, I'm going to play a few more songs and talk a little bit, and yeah. Hope I can spread a little bit of inspiration in these times. Boy, they just, every time I think it's like, oh, okay, well, this is just what we're doing right now. It just gets crazier and crazier. Hey, Tanya, I get to wave at people on Jacqueline on Facebook. At least I know that Facebook Live's working. I don't know about the YouTube stream at all. I wanted to play this song. I can't remember where this came to me. I learned it on guitar originally. Motherless Child. It's an old traditional gospel song. And in the Woodstock movie, or when Woodstock happened, Richie Havens opened it up and he sang a couple lines from this. He was playing something else, but you know, there's this great moment of him just totally drenched in sweat coming off opening up that iconic concert there, and he plays this. I'm gonna play it with a beat behind it. The slow bossa beat, for those of you wondering. Maybe we'll add some chords in later. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Oh, sometimes I feel just like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child, alone way from my home. Long way, oh I know. A long way from home. Sometimes I feel like I'm already gone. I said, sometimes I feel like I am already gone. Sometimes I feel just like I'm almost gone, a long way up in that heavenly land. I said, way up in that land, that heavenly land. Sometimes I feel just like a motherless child. Oh, sometimes I feel like I'm a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like I am a motherless child. A long way from my home, I said, a long way, Lord knows. I'm such a long way from home. like I am a motherless child. Well, sometimes I feel just like I'm a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like I am a motherless child. Such a long way, oh, such a long way from my home. I said, Lord knows I'm such a long, long way. Oh, we're such a long, long way from home. Huzzah! I don't like that Casio ending on that one, but there you go. It's all about acceptance. That's what I'm trying to work on these days. Just accepting a nice cool drink of water. Stay hydrated out there, people. Very important for your nervous system, for your immune system, to stay hydrated. Right before I started, I just grabbed a couple books, and I was like, I don't know what to talk about. But then I picked up, this is it's like a daily meditations for adult children of alcoholics. I don't pick this up too much, but it's been living in my bathroom for years. And so I was like, well, what's April 19th got to say about it? It's a quote from William Shakespeare. There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Is the glass half full or half empty? Is a responsibility a privilege or a duty? Is the help we've been asked to give an opportunity or an obligation? Do we get to do it or do we have to do it? Attitude is everything. And luckily for us, our attitudes are a matter of choice. We can pick the attitudes we want as much as we pick our clothes or our hairstyles. Nothing or no one in the past or present can dictate our attitudes. No one else deserves credit or blame for how we choose to process reality. For better or worse, our attitudes are ours alone. We all have the same world to respond to. What we practice, we become. If we practice looking at each day as a new adventure, so it will be. And the daily meditation is, I will develop an attitude of gratitude each day, giving thanks for my many blessings. Amen. I will say that. Can I get a witness? I have been very aware during this COVID crisis, the lack of leadership from the top of our country, the disproportionate amount that it is affecting people of color and socioeconomic, the poor people, that I have so many blessings, maybe wasn't born, almost at home plate like Donald Trump was, but I was certainly, as a white man in America, born well on third base. As I said last night, I don't know if any of you caught that little concert. I had a traumatic childhood, but I try now, as a father of a couple beautiful girls, and during this, to be aware of having a sense of gratitude and also this responsibility. And like this quote was saying, it's not I don't want to take it as a burden, I have to do this, I just want to watch the Tiger King and, wait till this gets through somehow, muddle our way through it. No, I feel I have, civic responsibility, to try to help as much as I can, because I'm in a position to help. And a lot of people, this has really shown, all these cracks in our socioeconomic system, so yeah, I don't know where that thought was going, but that's all right. I found another quote when I picked up this book from this old hippie. Look at that guy, man. For the YouTubers out there, it's got to be somewhere down here. Paramahansa Yogananda, author of Autobiography of a Yogi, Man's Eternal Quest. There's a lot of the, this was from a talk, I think, in 1938. So there's a lot of, it is man's duty and God is him, and there's a lot of that sort of language in here. 1933 was when this part of this talk was given. Practice the truth you hear and read about, so that it is not just an idea, but a conviction born of experience. If reading books on theology satisfies your desire for God, you have not grasped the purpose of religion. Do not settle for intellectual satisfaction about truth. Convert truth into experience, and you will know God through your own self-realization. What is needed is spiritual experience. Only divine communion can remove the great boredom that exists when one is not following the spiritual path scientifically. What is necessary in order to have the spiritual experience? The habit of daily meditation. God is realizable. You can know him now through meditation. Then, without any question, without any doubt, without a speck of mental reservation, you can say, I am with God. Why not? For he is your own. Amen. Yeah. How about that? Huh? And that quote really resonates with me in these 10-day and meditation retreats at the Vipassana Center. At the end of every day, there's a 1-hour Dharma talk, and these were all recorded. I think this was recorded back in the 90s, so there's a video tape of an hour-long Dharma talk at night. All the instructions are given over audio tape. And one of them talks about this, the difference between knowing yourself, that silence within, knowing yourself, the experience of getting in touch with God, and just hearing about it. And he likens it to sort of, you heard about a good restaurant, you know. That's like sort of someone saying, oh, you should try this meditation. Yeah, you should try this path, you know, the spiritual path. It's done wonders for me. And so you go, oh, great. And you go to the restaurant, and you see the plates of food coming out, and it smells delicious, and you see the looks on the people's faces who are enjoying the food, you know, and that is sort of a little bit closer to having that experience. Like reading about something, talking to someone about something. But until you taste that food, you'll never know, right, what that is like. And that sort of analogy really resonates with me, you know. And he mentions in here something about I think I lost my place. About scientifically knowing and breaking down the Buddha's sort of instructions on, okay, this is how you get closer with God. This is how the kingdom of heaven, you know, can unfold on you. And regardless of your spiritual you know, path, or whether you identify as a Christian or a Hindu or a Buddhist or Jewish, none of that matters, because this is completely non-denominational, you know. And one of the great breakthroughs that the Buddha, you know, discovered when he became enlightened, apparently. You know, when you become enlightened, when you reach nirvana, you know, there was nothing holding him on this earthly plane anymore. He stayed to teach people, right? I'm just as Jesus did, I'm sure, said, okay, this is what I'm going to do with my life. I'm going to help others, as long as this body is functioning. And so at the time, there was certainly a lot of these techniques, but what the Buddha did was he really said, okay, this is what is universal. This does not depend on reciting this mantra that some people can't pronounce, or reading this book, or doing these daily devotions. The breath is universal, and sensations are universal. So that is where you start. You follow the breath. Everyone who's alive is breathing, and through the breath get to the sensations, which is universal, non-denominational, and completely scientific. I'm breaking it down, as I've gotten deeper into it, I've just realized how scientific it really is to get to this quiet place, and that can be through. It doesn't have to be sitting on a mat, of course. It can be, in prayer. It can be in a quiet moment in the forest, or walking, or just washing the dishes. When you touch that part of yourself and you realize, oh, the personality of who I am is just sort of melded on top of this core of eternal love. So it's not, that never goes away, right? And, in these times especially, I find the real need to try to get in touch with that is at the center of everything. That as much as everything is constantly changing, the core experience of being alive on this planet is that everything is constantly changing. Like as quantum scientists and as physicists start to study the nature of reality and break it down, everything is just these little wavelets vibrating, right? And every single thing. And so our thoughts, our actions, all derive from this place of where everything is constantly changing. And the core center, though, when I've touched it, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's just there. It can go by many different names, but that's just, that doesn't change, right? That part doesn't change. And so when I'm feeling downhearted and when I'm feeling discouraged, I try to remember, like, these little quotes said, not just my many blessings, but the truth of who we are. This is not our home, right? We're only visiting here. This is the blink of a God's eye is one lifetime, right? And I believe we have many, many lifetimes. And right now, this place is pretty intense, But then I'm like, oh yeah, sort of life has always been intense. I mean, you might, if you look back in modern times, look back to just the Spanish flu, World War I, World War II, all the madness and chaos of the 60s, and the assassinations and the different waves. I look further back in history, I'm like, oh yeah, this has always been happening, Death and disease and change are just a part of this, life experience, right? So, as the Chinese said, may you be born in an interesting time, right? It's not just a curse, it's a blessing and a curse. These are very interesting times. And, this is all off the top of my head, but I will say, to sum up, stay hydrated today. Get outside if you can. Help each other if you can. And most importantly, I gotta remind myself of this all the time, is take care of yourself, right? Go easy on yourself. Eat good food, get enough sleep, stay hydrated, all that stuff to get through this part of life. It's so freaking crazy right now, to get off the topic a little bit. Just the gaslighting that goes on with this guy, man. It's crazy. Oh, I shake my head. It seems just so absurd today, that the president is tweeting out, rise up in insurrection, remember your Second Amendment rights. It's like, what? What? It's so confusing. It's total gaslighting. It's just like, oh, I get so confused. I'll just lose my mind trying to figure this all out because it makes no sense that the president would be like, take up arms. Yeah, resurrection. Oh, it's just a tweet. It's just a Okay. That is not where I wanted to end that sort of rambling thing. That just popped up in my mind for whatever reason. I guess I'll end with another song. I don't really have one chosen out. But Dan said he liked this one the other day. So. all have a great week. Good luck surfing the crazy quarantine-like waters out there. What day is it? What year is it? Where am I? What's going on? I wish you all the best. And yeah, maybe you all may you all have a fantabulous Sunday, whatever it brings to you. Yeah, if I do nothing else, remember, stay hydrated out there. Okay, there. I feel like I've done my job now.